Hi, this is Anese, Cavanaugh, and I am the author of Contagious Culture, Show Up, Set the Tone, and Intentionally Create an Organization that Thrives. And I'm really excited to tell you guys that now I'm also the author of Contagious You, Unlock Your Power to Influence, Lead, and Create the Impact You Want. So this book is coming out mid-November 2019, and I'm really, really excited about this book. I wrote Contagious Culture in 2015, and so my intention behind writing Contagious Culture was to really help people see that we are the culture. So while most people think that culture is created out there, it's the people around us, it's our cultural systems, our values, all these things, these are all important, but really it's how every single one of us shows up in an organization in our lives that is creating our culture every single day. So that was the point of Contagious Culture. It's been really, really fun to be in rooms with you since. It's been really, really fun to talk to you after talks and to get questions. And the questions and requests that I had from that book over the last 4 years, ranging from working from all sorts of different industries, and finance to healthcare to education to government, law enforcement, like you name it. The questions that I had led me to this point where I realized it was time to write the next book, which is Contagious You. So Contagious You is going to take you deeper. Contagious You is really about going into you as leader and looking at your leadership presence, your intentional, energetic presence. It's looking at engagement. It's looking at how do you inspire or repel engagement by how you're showing up. How do you use self-care as a leadership tool? Like, how do you actually use your self-care and self-kindness and convert those into leadership skills, which are some of the most important leadership skills you have? This book is also looking at how do you navigate the lowest vibration in the room, that guy who I always call George or Georgette or G. How do you navigate the Georges in your life so that even if they're lower energy or it's just not feeling great to be around them, you can still work with them, and not only work with them and manage your own energy around them, but actually invite them to join you at a higher level of state. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at building your immunity. We're looking at assessments to help you assess your leadership presence, to help you assess what the cost of negative energy is in your organization. We are looking at assessments for you to give your team, that your team can actually give you feedback on different components of how you show up versus how you think you show up, and how you're either creating safety or not creating safety, like all sorts of good stuff. So I put an entire chapter in this book devoted completely to assessments. In this book, you guys asked me a ton of questions about the science of showing up. What is the science of showing up? Like let's see the math, let's see the science. So I'm not a scientist, so what I did was I went and I found one of the most brilliant neuroscientists I could find. Her name is Dr. Snook Lee. And she and I worked together on chapter 8 and really dove into every single component of the IEP method, and what does it mean to be contagious, and what's actually happening, and what's happening when we match the lowest vibration in the room, what's happening when we meditate or we reboot or we shift our state so that we're going from having a bad moment to now a more pleasurable moment. And so there's an entire chapter on that. There's a chapter on projection, which is such a tricky beast, and it had to be written about. So there's a chapter on projection. There's a chapter on team building. There's a chapter, I won't even go through all the chapters. There's a lot. So in this book, we're going to look at the statistics of engagement and how the cost of engagement, like what's actually happening with engagement in our country right now, and how are every single one of us personally contributing to that. And the good news is that we're all the common denominator, and we can totally do something about that. So this book, we're going to be working on you, 100% you. Contagious Culture, we worked on culture and we worked on you. Contagious You, we're working on you, and then we'll work a little bit on culture. I did, for those of you that keep asking me to list, I did create an entire chapter that has, all right, make this real in your organization, and let's dig into the list. Like, here's your culture change list, here's what you have to do, here's what your team has to do, here's what your organization has to do, here's when you need to do it. There is an entire chapter devoted to that. And then I think the other thing I'm really excited about with this book is that I got to speak to 13 different organizations and interview them to look at how they're using this work in their organizations and how they've made it a part of their lifeblood, so to speak. So lots to do here. You can read both of these. These work really, really beautifully together. I wrote them to be BFFs. They're best friends, siblings, colleagues, business partners, whatever you want to call them. They work together beautifully. You can read either one first. If you are wanting to really lean into culture and focusing on culture, then definitely look at that one. But don't leave this one behind, because this one, your culture is only going to be as good as you are. So if you're looking to work on you and building stronger leadership presence, then read this one. And still read Contagious Culture, because your leadership presence is having an impact on your culture. So see, best friends. All right, you guys, that's it. Thanks for being with me for these minutes, and I really hope that you love the book. I loved writing it, and I hope you have as much fun reading it and get as much value from reading it as I did from writing it. Thank you.